This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Hey friends, this is Audie Cornish, host of CNN This Morning and The Assignment, and guess what? Every story you care about, every angle you want unpacked is now streaming on CNN. That means you can catch my show or other CNN programming whenever you want on your favorite device. And a subscription also gets you access to exclusive video series and unlimited articles. So subscribe to CNN at cnn.com/subscription.
Why does every recipe I try need 18 ingredients, including a jar of something paste I'll never use again, but will sit in my fridge for 9 months? I just want dinner in the oven, fast. That's why I love Blue Apron's new one-pan assemble and bake meals. They send you fresh ingredients that are already chopped. All you do is put it all together and bake. That's it. No chopping, no weird leftovers, just delicious, easy-to-make meals. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
You're listening to Achtung, Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome to perhaps one of the most picturesque and romantic football venues in the world game. It is, of course, the Kassam Stadium in Oxford. Uncompleted, but maybe that makes it a little more beautiful, a bit like the Venus de Milo with her missing arms. You join me, of course, for the visit of the Lions this afternoon. It's Oxford United versus Millwall. My name is Nick Hart. Welcome to Achtung, Millwall. Your Lions side for today's championship fixture possibly will give us a chance to win 5 in a row, with Coventry's loss last night against Wrexham, 3-2 win for Wrexham at home. This gives us a chance to narrow the gap to the top 2, dear listeners. I was just speaking to one of my colleagues around me here, and he's going for Millwall a long while. As we said, and what we agreed, 4 wins on the spin, 4 goals on the spin for Femi Aziz. Oxford United in the lower tier of the division. What could possibly go wrong this afternoon, dear listeners? Maybe we've been Millwall fans for too long, dear listeners. Anyway, your Lions starting is unchanged from that fine victory last week over Leicester City. Max Crocombe in goal, back line of Ryan Leonard, Tristan Kramer, Jake Cooper, Zach Sturge, Casper Denor and Derek Mazusaku. What a revelation he's been in the defensive 2. The attacking 3, Femi Aziz, goal again. Femi, what a man. We did a lovely interview with him in the week. Do catch it on any of the Millwall podcasts. Luke Kundle, I thought played very well as well. And Tiano Berlo up front, Mihailo Ivanovic. So, dear listeners, I'm aware that we have a lot of US listeners, and they may have a romantic view of Oxford. It's got this kind of resonance, especially across the water, across the Atlantic. The idea of Oxford carries a lot of cachet, dear listeners. Well, that's very real. The spires, the dreaming spires of Oxford, and the river Isis flowing through whilst one punts along the waters, like Lord Muck with your missus on your punt. That's all very real, but take it from me, this part of Oxford is not like that, dear American listeners. It's very much the rougher side. I parked up on the other side of what I've came to realise is the infamous Blackbird Leys estate, which has an infamy in the UK for carjacking and car racing. A few years ago, I don't know if they still do it around here. As I parked up, and as I'm walking along, I realised I'm in the Blackbird Leys estate. Now I have to say, walking along on a grey Saturday afternoon like we're in at the moment, it didn't seem too bad. I've actually worked on estates that have given me more sense of intimidation. Council, public sector estates we're talking about here, American listeners. But then just as I was walking down towards the ground, I went past the rubbish area outside a block of flats, apartments for all you US listeners, block of apartments, where they have the recycling bins to recycle your cardboard. And there's a group of feral youth aged around, 8, 9, 10, 11, trying to sell cardboard they'd filched from the recycling bins, selling cardboard. As I approached the boys, they said, do you want to buy some cardboard for £2? Given that they must have acquired it out of the orange bins, I thought that's a bit strong, even if I was in the market for cardboard, which I wasn't. So I just said, no, mate, thank you. Walked past it. The price went down to £1 as I actually passed him, and as my back was faced on, they went down to 50p, which I thought was an object lesson in economics, the supply and demand, listeners. So anyway, I don't know if the Farewell Youth did sell any cardboard. I imagine that's for Guy Fawkes fireworks night, isn't it? It was Loons. Lions are just warming up down below us, listeners. Good turnout so far of travelling Lions fans. We are very much in the middle of nowhere out here, but I should be back once the action begins. Well, here come the two sides, dear listeners. I am in Oxford's equivalent of Birdship Corner, high up along the side stand. There is no one end of the ground, so we're on the side of of one stand. The stand opposite has a very similar kind of look to the Den, in fairness. Anyway, here come the two teams. Lions will be dressed in their all-ecru kit. Oxford, of course, in yellow and blue. Big band of rain just went past. A very grey afternoon. Sheets of rain a moment. It seems to have cleared temporarily. Floodlights are on. There's an ultra scene at the Oxford home end. A lot of flags being waved, yellow and blue. Their kind of ball motif that they use. Nothing like that in the Millwall section, you'll be pleased to hear, dear listeners. Looks like it's Oxford's remembrance ceremony, listeners, before the game. Both teams lined up round the centre circle.
They shall grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Very nicely done. Fair play, Oxford United Football Club and everyone connected with that ceremony. Wow. Wonderful. But now, dear listeners, it is business. Football does seem a bit trivial after something like that. But anyway, that's what we're here for. This is a huge chance for the Lions coming into today's game. We're sitting third in the table. Lost for Coventry, as I've said already last night. And this is a chance to narrow the gap to the top two. Can you believe I'm even saying that, listeners? Chance for 5 wins in a row. Let's see what we can do. This is a Gary Rowett side, of course, and they will be very, very difficult. I was listening to the excellent News at Den podcast on the road coming up here with John Kelly and Will Scott, the occasional contributor to our show. But I had a guest on from the Oxford local press, and he was saying how there's a bit of controversy amongst Oxford fans about Rowett's football. Effective but not so good to watch. The previous guy apparently was playing a more open style but getting beat. So, you know, you can't have it all. And this is one of the smaller budgets in, if not the smallest, in the Championship division. Anyway, we're ready to kick off. Oxford will kick us off. Lions will be attacking the car park in the first half. Away we go. Myself, I think some of the football we've been playing of late has been beautiful to watch in phases. This is an early chance for a long throw for Oxford, however. Been reading in the press, the I paper yesterday had an article about how the Premier League has discovered long throws. Apparently all the rage now. Pepism, Pep Guardiolaism is no longer the word on the streets. It's now all about Pulis, Tony Pulis style long balls and long throws. There's an old one from the Millwall songbook. Like that one. Lee Marvin film, what was it called? Paint Your Wagon? I was born under a wandering star, that's the number I'm thinking of. Where's this one come from? It's out at the Ark, at the songbook. Fair play to whoever summoned this one up. Alex Neil, speaking to the news at Den, said we come into this game with confidence, quote, with confidence. And after some of the recent results, well, why not? It's our best start since 2008-9. That would be under Kenny Jackett in League One. That's harsh. I'm not joining in with that one, listeners. I thought Gary Rowett performed small miracles on a very limited budget and took us close to the playoffs. Seven minutes, going towards 8. Stirs to take it. Oh, and that lower flight, that's over the top. This is Ballo in front of goal. Couldn't quite get behind it, unfortunately. Last ditch defending, put it over the bar. Different free kick there, it was much lower trajectory, much more directly flighted, and it almost worked its way through to Ballo on the left side, but he couldn't really get behind it. For sure, if you go down as a chance, half chance, I suppose. Lovely flick header on from Ivanovic finds Aziz. Wins the throw-in with the 26th Shannon in there. Down below us in the away section, listeners. Terrific interview with Femi Aziz in the week. You do have a listen to it on the most recent edition of Achtung Millwall, but you can get it on any of the major podcasts. Very intelligent boy. He said his ambition would have been to have been a pilot, but for the football. Balls into the mix, there's 1-0 Millwall! Long throw headed in by Ballo! Oxford will class that as a soft goal that comes in. Long throw, threaded its way through. And there's Ballo just to run it in. Single ball, single goal. 1-0 Millwall! 11 minutes! Becoming a contest of long throws, listeners. It's Oxford's chance now to have a long throw over on the right. 17 minutes in. That's gone right through to Max Crocombe. No danger there, listeners. Alex Neil says he'll play whatever style works, and I like that. That's my kind of talk. All out wide, like fight. There's Femi on the right flank, beats one man. All into the middle of the back heel for a right-sided corner, dear listeners. Beautiful body swerve by Femi Aziz. Like he was flying a jet airplane. In it comes. Deep. There's Jake Cooper. Oh, headed wide. I thought that was going in for a moment. Ball into the middle. Falls to the edge of the penalty area. Decent save there from Crocombe. It's fired into the near post. On the volley. Crocombe looked like they got down smartly for that one, listeners. Good save. 22 minutes, halfway point in the first half. Another ball into the middle. Almost ran through on goal there, but Crocombe was equal to that one, diving down at the left side post. It's been a good start for the Lions. Obviously that goal from Turno Ballo separating the two sides at the halfway point of the first half. No great danger so far from Oxford, but they do obviously thrive on long throws and set pieces. That's some beautiful take and turn there from Femi Aziz. He's got Kundal in the middle. This has gone backwards to Dinor. That's a wonderful little shimmy there from Dinor. Trying to put the ball back into the middle. Aziz wins the ball there. Shot trickles off the heel of an Oxford defender, ran across the face of the goal. It's gone for a left-sided corner. Some beautiful little movements there down this right flank, listeners. Clad all in black there, goalkeeper, Lev Yashin style. Cut out well there by Tristan Kramer. This is Ryan Leonard. This is Aziz. He's got Derek inside him. What a player he's turning out to be. Ball into the middle. Ballo can't quite take and turn. There's a pen there. 1-2 to the goalkeeper. Excellent Ryan Leonard interview. I stuck it up on X, listeners. You might have seen it if you follow me on X. Long interview with the Football League paper with Ryan Leonard, in which he says he's enjoying his football and hopes to be here for a long while yet to come. Ball down the left flank. This is Femi Aziz. Blocked to the last. Beautiful ball as Femi was running onto the goal line there for the crop back. Gone for a right-sided corner, dear listeners. It's floated deep towards Kramer. Oh, headed back across the goal. Just wide. Tristan Kramer. 30 minutes into this game, listeners. The Lions looking for that all-important second goal. 32 minutes. In comes a corner from Condell. Deep one. Players go sprawling everywhere. Bouncing around. Back out to Condell. Deep cross. There's Jake Cooper at the far post there. Mill keeping ball. Handball, surely. How's that not a penalty? Fired in at the Oxford defender and he hits his hand. Lovely work between Sturge and Ballo just to recover that breakout of defence from Oxford there. Who's this gone down? It don't look great. Is this Aziz? He's up walking. There's a player stripping off over on the bench. Who's that? Camille Negley. He slapped the wall of the tunnel as he was walking down it, clearly distraught. Yeah, he slapped the wall, didn't he? He smacked the wall. Yeah. He was injured earlier in the season, might be the same. Yeah. Lions just had the wind taken out of their sails slightly, listeners, with that loss of Femi. We've got to re-find out our mojo. We were playing some really nice stuff until he went out of the game. We're still leading, and this will be a big 3 points if we can pull it off. Wind and rain whipping round this three-sided stadium, dear listeners. Oxford fighting for the second balls. Lions have got to liven up in midfield a little bit. They're winning second balls at the moment, listeners. It is scrappy stuff, and they're kind of prevailing in that at the moment, just before half-time. There's a cutting from the right side. There's a shot. Oh, what a goal from the edge of the penalty area of the 8. Caught it beautifully. Top left-hand corner. Wow. Lions have been on the back foot a little bit since the loss of Aziz. I think that's been a bit of a psychological blow. It's 1-1. 4 minutes of added time. That'll put Oxford's tails up going into the half-time break. There it is, half-time, 1 each. Lions looking good for a goal lead. We couldn't make that second goal, could get that second goal, and of course that allows, with the loss of Aziz, it allows Oxford back in the game. It was a decent strike in fairness from there, but I don't think there was much that Crocombe could have done about that. Rain pouring down, half-time in Oxford.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Achtung, Millwall.
A very decent local marching band. It looks like an RAF cadet band grouping, I think, listeners, but it's really nice. Half time. It's raised my spirits after that late equaliser in the first half. We're just waiting for the two teams to come out for the second half. It is chucking it down out there, listeners. It is absolutely pelting it down. Miserable conditions. Lions need more vim and pep in midfield, not Pep Guardiola. Pep Billy Mitchell, in my opinion, but we'll see what we get second half. We were second best a lot as that half wore to its closure. The loss of Femi Aziz seeming to have a real psychological blow. We'll see how we line up in the second half. Off we go. Must seem a long way from southern France for Derek. Conditions are windy and wet and cold. English style autumn conditions. Vaux having a word with the Millwall support. Number 4 in the danger area. Shot on target, it was down low for Crocombe. He took it reasonably easy. No power really behind the shot. Touch of fortune to that from the Millwall perspective really. Well, I think the referee's pulled play up anyway, so it would all have come to nothing, dear listeners. We're just struggling to get any kind of pattern of play going at the moment, listeners. Long ball forward, it's just gone straight into touch. Conditions aren't helping. All that's missing out there at the moment is an arc with Noah and the Animals 2x2 on it. That's a loose ball. This is Millwall to pick it up. This is Denor. Negley trying to thread it through. It does work its way through with a bit of luck to Zach Sturge on the left side. What can he do? Ball in the middle. Oh, fired in. I think that was Ivanovic putting it wide left. Instinctive ball into the middle. He couldn't really get any control on it. Goal kick. 53 minutes. Negley on the right side is penalised. Not been terribly effective as compared with Femi Aziz since he came in. I know it's probably an unfair comparison, but that's the straight swap we've had. Not done much so far, Camille Negley for me. 60 minutes, dear listeners. 49's coming out for number 8, Billy Mitchell. That's Derek for Billy Mitchell. I approve of that. Idemai Marku coming in for Luke Cundall. This is Billy. Straight into play. He's got a run forward from Negley. This is Zach Sturge on the left side though. Overlap is Billy Mitchell. Ball into the middle. Cleared at the near post there, listeners. Line straight at it. Zach Sturge on the left now. Mitchell again. Kramer, Imaku feeds Negley. Ball into the middle. This is Sturge. Shot from... Oh, Denor took a looping deflection there. Shot from the edge of the penalty area. Froze in the moment. Listeners took a huge looping deflection. The power was shot and it's gone for a right-sided corner. I thought it was going to go in the net, but it's gone right, listeners. 62 minutes, 63 minutes. Right-sided corner for the Lions. Billy Mitchell has been involved since he's come into the game. There's a ball in from the left side. Ball bouncing around. It's going to run clear, unfortunately. 65 minutes. There's Ballo. Runs away from... it falls into the path of Kramer now on the left side. What can he do? Shot on target. 2-1 in the middle! Slammed in from close! Shot from Kramer, powered away by the goalkeeper, and there's Ivanovic!
Listeners, it was of course Jake Cooper who scored the goal, not Ivanovic as I thought in real time. My deepest apologies.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing, listeners! Shot from Kramer on goal, runs across, and there's Kramer from close range, just to tap it into the net, to be honest with you. 2-1 Lions, 66 minutes. Blimey O'Reilly. Lions have looked really a much different side with the introduction of Billy Mitchell. The Billy Mitchell Casper Denor midfield seemed to be the optimum. We looked a lot more energetic. We've got players forward more, and there it is. It's 2-1 now. Much livelier in midfield, listeners. We look so much more energised. Second balls are now being won by Millwall shirts and not the Oxford shirts. Billy must have been itching to get involved in this game on that bench, listeners. He's coming like a fury out there. Oh, it's the sixth now in possession, and right little chance here for Oxford. Shot from a tight angle is put well wide and over the bar. Lions almost get involved in slapstick comedy there, listeners. As it is, it's all good, all good. Don't worry about it, wherever you listen to this show. I had a half-time message from Doug, who's in Mexico at the moment. Doug in Sweden, he's now Doug in Mexico, some sultry, hot location. I sent him back with a picture of a cold, damp Oxford Stadium. So wherever you're listening to, big shout out to you. If you're in some sultry, hot location, think of me stood here in the cold, the wet and the damp of England. Watching the Lions. 81 minutes, listeners. The Lions will kick themselves if we let this 3 points get away from us. Oxford with a huge lump forwards. This is going to be Max Crocombe to take command of that situation. Bit of indecision there for a moment between the triangle, Kramer and Cooper and Crocombe, but he took control of it and did it very well there. We're on 84 minutes. This will be Hail Mary time now, as they say in American football, for Oxford United. Beautiful cut out there by Negley, by Ryan Leonard, his through on goal. Oh, what a save, what a shot. That was a beautiful run forward there, cut out, run forwards and shot by Ryan Leonard. Wow. Power shot on goal, well saved by the goalkeeper, in fairness, listeners. 85 minutes, going to be right-sided corner, Millwall. Camille Negley, ball into the middle. Oh, flashes across the goal. Left-sided corner, must have come off an Oxford head there. Referee getting a lot of marginal decisions Oxford's way, causing a little bit of a ripple of dissent amongst the travelling support. The Lions will be looking to see this game through, listeners, now. We are on maybe 4 minutes of the added 5 to go. To summarise today's game, I know we've still got some time yet to go, so I won't tempt Lady Fate, but it's been a scrappy old affair, in truth, in poor conditions. This is the 7 though, before I go too effusive in my praise. Ball in from the left side for Oxford. And Marco does indeed do well to clear there. Yeah, scrappy game. Played in very poor conditions, hard conditions. Lions got ahead, obviously were psychological blow, the loss of Femi Aziz in the late part of the first half. Allowed that equaliser, a spectacular equaliser for Oxford. Second half, it's been a scratch and scrape. We've nudged ahead. But to win in these circumstances, if that's what it comes to, will be some achievement. I'm just saying that, and there's Ryan Leonard on the floor over on the far side from where I'm standing, so better not tempt Lady Luck too far. A couple of pigeons for whom this is their natural habitat, listeners. Just landed on the girders above me. I'm got half a mile upwards in case I get shat upon. As is their wont, as is the way of the pigeon. Ryan Leonard taking a walk to the sideline. It's like Wes Harding's come in for these last few moments of the game. This is Oxford pressing forwards. And the D. Free kick awarded. Danger position. This might be Oxford's last chance. 24 yards left of centre. I'll make it the 5 minutes are up. Whether he puts anything else on top for that, I don't know. Certainly allow this free kick to be taken. Here we go. Shot down low, batted away by Max Crocombe. Ball back into the middle, bouncing around. Mayhem in there, listeners. It's perfectly clear. Lions survived that moment. Good save by Max Crocombe at the death there, listeners. Early helter-skelter stuff out there at the moment. Oh, the 7 catches it on the edge of the penalty area. Fucking hell. Oh, my fucking giddy arm. Dear, oh dear, listeners. I mean, it was another shot. I don't think Mike Croghan could have done much. He'd already done well in the previous moment, but that's fired in from the edge of the penalty area, caught on the volley, slammed in well in truth. Makes it 2 each. Huey Hefner, not the Playboy merchant. Football. There it is. Oh, well. Late equaliser. It gives you a sense of having the point stolen from your listeners, don't it? I mean, it was a scrappy game, in truth. The Lions, having got in front, will be bitterly disappointed not to have survived that period. Oxford throwing everything in the kitchen sink at us in the last few minutes. Finishes 2 each. There we go. Football. Stay tuned.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back, dear listeners. Well, that was a gutsy way to finish a football match yesterday, dear listeners. Joining me to chew over yesterday's events is show regular Graham Payne. Welcome, Graham.
Good morning, Nick. Yeah, it was very gutting.
Yeah, we were just saying off air, listeners, it's a funny old place, Oxford. It reminded me very much of being back in League One. Not only the kind of conditions and the stadium and the Gary Rowett setup of Oxford, it was the whole afternoon's football was quite a scrappy affair. In truth, Graham.
Yeah.
I was driving up. I was on the M40 and I was listening to the News at Dens podcast they do behind their paywall, and they were talking to a guy from, I think it was one of the Oxford local journalists, and he was talking about Gary Rowett, who we know well, of course, at Millwall. And already there's this kind of pull between the quality of the football they're watching at Oxford and the effectiveness of the football. I thought we were, in recent weeks, I think we got a little bit used to fine dining at the best restaurants and some of the quality of the football, whereas yesterday it was a bit like being back at the bottom half of League One again.
Yeah, back in McDonald's or KFC.
Not even that good. It felt like I was at the local Perfect Chicken shop just up in East Ham or somewhere. Having one of their cheap end deals as well, for good measure. Conditions, I've written on my notes here, conditions didn't help. I mean, there's the Rowett factor of they set up with what they have to play with, and our quality players. I think the game really turned with the loss of Femi Aziz about half an hour, I think it was, into that first half. But they set up to scratch and spoil, a bit like we used to, Graham, wasn't it, really? I thought Oxford's performance was a bit like Millwall of old.
Yeah, it was just a typical Gary Rowett setup, wasn't it? And, it was like just going back to that era,
Just looking at the BBC website, the opening goal, which was Tierno Ballo's close-range header, which they call a goal more reminiscent of non-league football, which from a long throw. It felt at times like it was going to be a contest of long throws out there, Graham, in the rain and the wind swirling around the Kassam arena. But if you let a long throw bounce, you're asking for trouble, and that's what they got with that quite nice finish, actually, from Ballo to put it away inside the box. They must be kicking themselves to let that long throw from Ryan Leonard bounce. I mean, that's got to be rule number one of football. Yeah. Don't let the ball hit the ground.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a comedy of errors, wasn't it? Long throw, which wasn't that long, to be honest. It bounced.
No, it wasn't.
He had a free header, didn't he? Stuck it away nicely, but yeah.
I was reading that long throws are all the rage suddenly. The Premier League have discovered long throws, Graham. Everyone's abandoned Pep Guardiola's possession Spanish World Cup winning football, and we're all going back to Tony Pulis era long throws into the box. I mean, that's fine if you got someone with a decent long throw. I mean, Ryan Leonard, you'll argue he got a goal yesterday, so I suppose that. But they're not that long. I mean, Zach Sturge was taking them as well, and I didn't think he was all that long. But I don't mind it as a tactic if you have a genuine long throw merchant, but we don't really, do we?
I think the only one I can think of, but he obviously doesn't play much, is Wes Harding. I think his one's quite long.
He came on late, didn't he? Late in the game. I think he had one effort. His throw is reasonably... I think the long throws, there was a Stoke player who used to throw him in quite with a low trajectory. Delap. I mean, you want something like that. I mean, whether you can practice and train for it, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what the essence of a long throw is, really. I mean, I suppose the ability to hurl it, it must rest a bit like a golf swing, I suppose. You've got to kind of put your body behind it in some way, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, opening goal for Barrow, put away very nicely, 1-0 up, and I thought we were largely in control for that first half. But the injury to Femi Aziz had pulled up with his hamstring. Apparently, we await with trepidation, news on the severity of that. But that seemed to really stun us, and we looked very much second best after that, Graham, I thought.
Yeah, we did. I thought we got very sloppy in that last after he went off.
Yeah.
Giving the ball away a lot, and as you say, it seemed to like take the belief out of the team as well. And it's quite not worry. I suppose it is a bit worrying now. Beginning to, obviously he's our top player, but
yeah,
with his fitness record, you've got to be realistic. You're not going to get a load of games out of him. I don't think. He seems to always, do 4 or 5, then he'll pick up another injury.
He was very frustrated leaving the pitch. I mean, from where I was, the angle, I was right on the very end of the stand, so you could kind of half see down the tunnel, and he smacked the wall in frustration as he went off. It must be a real gutter for him. We'll see how bad it is come next week, I suppose. But that did take the wind out of our sails, and we let Oxford back in. I mean, I'm going to call them workmanlike as a unit. They scored 2 spectacular goals. In fairness to them, both of their goals were, top drawer. But as a unit, they reminded me very much of a League One workmanlike. No disrespect to that. I mean, they're doing what they can with what they've got, and I think he's a bit of a past master at that kind of side row. It's almost he's in his element there in a way, isn't he? I mean, I thought they came on strong at the end of the first half, and that equalising goal. I don't think there was much that Max Crocombe could do with that. It was perfectly placed.
No.
Brannigan, I think it was that got it. Yeah, Brannigan, who seems to be the local hero. And as I was walking away from the ground, I see a lot of the kids down there with a Brannigan written on their shirts. So I could see why there was nothing I think the goalkeeper could have done with that. To be fair to him.
No, it was a top draw finish, right in the top corner. Nothing Crocombe could have done with that.
No, so it was half time, 1 each. Rain was whipping around off the car park. It whips in off the car park, past Frankie and Benny's and the bingo hall, across the cars. I wouldn't ever park in that car park, incidentally, listeners. If you ever think to go to the Kassam again, it looked like chaos getting out of the ground after the game. Huge, massive metal trying to get through one small exit. But anyway, there we are. That's by the by. Second half, we started off a bit better. I thought we really improved with the introduction of Billy Mitchell, Graham.
Yeah, he definitely made a difference as soon as he come on. It was crying out for him to come on, and
energy.
He was getting into winning balls. It's just what we needed at that time in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Leading to the goal, I mistakenly in real time, I thought that was a tap in by Ivanovic. I'm so far away. And it was it was so difficult to see from one end of the pitch to the other. I didn't realise until I got home it was Jake Cooper that scored the goal. So listeners will have heard my little correction post match that it was actually Cooper who got the goal, not Ivanovic. He was in the vicinity though. In fairness to him, Graham. So that's my excuse, and I'm going to stick to it. But an easy enough tap in from I think it was a Kramer shot from memory from the edge of the penalty area, which the goalkeeper batted out and tapped in by the man himself. 400 appearances, Graham, for Jake Cooper. That was his 400th yesterday. It's quite an achievement, isn't it?
It is. And I was just saying, it was a great achievement, and it shows how fit he's managed to stay. I can only think of one time. I think it was when he dislocate his shoulder that he missed the game. I think he only missed one game.
Yeah, he fell heavily, I think, on one occasion. That was a few years ago now, wasn't
it?
I
thought it was all set up yesterday for that 400th appearance, the winning goal. The headlines was made.
You and me both, Graham. I mean, in fairness to Oxford, they were throwing the kitchen sink at us towards the end of the game. They forced a couple of good. In fact, I just wanted to mention Max Crocombe made some decent saves. And in real time yesterday, it wasn't apparent from the angle where I was at how good some of the saves were in very slippery conditions. And I noticed on the BBC website that the people who vote for man of the match, and he's a top voted Millwall player 7.25 out of 10 on their website, and I think that's probably justifiable. I didn't really give him credit in real time yesterday. But yeah, you're right. It was all set up for that dream finish, wasn't it? But Oxford kept pumping the ball into our box, and I suppose if you keep doing that, you're going to get lucky at some point. And so they did with another really good strike. I mean, I can't deny the quality of their two goals. It was the 14, I think it was, caught it on a volley, and it just bobbled over Crocom's hand into the bottom right. It was a gutting moment, I will be honest. There's nothing like equalising in the very last kick of the game, and there's nothing as horrible as conceding a goal with the last kick, is
No,
there?
it's the worst feeling, it, when the last, especially yesterday was. We've had it before where we've lost in the last minute, and that's even worse. It's even worse than yesterday.
Oh God, yeah,
But I thought,
yeah. We've had a good number of games where we've scored
Yeah.
late, so I suppose you've got to take it on the chin. And I suppose if you look at it in the cold light of Sunday morning, and the waypoint keeps our unbeaten away record at the moment. That's quite something. I mean, we do of course drop down a couple of places when we might have dreamed of better things at certain points. I didn't see the real time table, but I'm sure we would have been. We would have been in second position at one point, wouldn't
I
we?
was watching it on Millwall, the TV, and they
TV,
kept flashing
yeah,
up the
yeah.
table, and we were second, 2 points behind Coventry.
Yeah, I mean, it's Millwall. I was talking to the chap in front of me, and he was saying, 4 wins on the spin, dreaming of the top two. As we agreed, what could possibly go wrong? Well, that's what can go wrong with Millwall. We're still, pretty well placed. Fourth position is we're 1 point behind Middlesbrough. With a difficult-ish looking away trip to Birmingham in midweek, who are placed in 11th position. So they've won 5, drawn 3, lost 5. So the loss of Aziz seemed to make a big impact on our side. I think there's a sense that the creativity went with Femi Aziz down that tunnel, which I think is a shame. We've got some decent players, but I think he's been such a talisman, Graham, since he's come. The good form began with him, and I don't want it to end with him either, as he's gone off the pitch. But I think there's a bit of a sense that that's what happened yesterday.
I think also a big disappointment, and I don't like picking on players, but Negri. I mean, he doesn't. I don't know what he's doing. What they keep saying, his best position's this. It's not this. He's not. He's not doing what I thought he was going to do when I first saw him. Like last season, he's not grabbing a game by the strap of the neck. He's not really doing anything, to be honest. And
no, I thought he would press on. He got that opening goal, didn't he, up at Norwich back in the sunshine, Carrow Road, and he put that away really well. And I thought, wow, this is it. Now we're going to start to see our investment come good. And there's, as ever, there's the likes. Another creative talent is Raïs Bangura-Williams. Who don't seem to get a sniff or a shout. I don't know why. 'Cause I don't see the argument. I'm going to try and project into Alex Neil's mind is that maybe you don't see the work rate, the tracking back with Race as I wouldn't agree with that personally, but I'm guessing that's the reason why he doesn't get picked and is not seeing much game time. But Negley, apart from the fact we've spent some money on him, Graham, I don't see much work rate there either in terms of tracking back. I think he's a talented boy. There were little shimmies and moments when he did have the ball, but you don't see enough of that. And you certainly don't see the industrious kind of quality you get with someone like Femi Aziz, for example. So I'm with you there. I mean, consensus seems to be he's best in the centre, the number 10 role they keep. But I do agree. We need to see more from him, I think. Let's wait and see what the team selection is at Birmingham in midweek. We've got a tough week. We've got Birmingham Tuesday night, I think it is, and then we're at home next week to Preston. So, as disappointing as it was to concede that late equaliser, there's still some big points at stake this week.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've not picked up on it, Nick, but also there was another injury. Leonard went off right at the end, and they're saying it's his calf. So, I think there may be a change at right back on Tuesday night. I'm presuming if he's got a calf injury, but I don't know.
Whether Danny Mack's fit enough to start, or whether he might go with Wes Harding, which might be might be the percentage choice. I suppose we've also got Caleb Taylor, a £3 million
they could move.
defender that they might move Kramer rightwards and go with Taylor in the
I
centre.
think I would favour that at Birmingham. I think.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Kramer is a huge figure in that defence. I've got to say, that's a big loss though. Ryan Leonard, I thought, did very well. I'm going to keep saying it, listeners, and I apologise. I know it's both the same for both teams, but in very, very difficult conditions yesterday. It wasn't the rain was coming in sheets at certain points in the match. So that wasn't an easy performance, and I thought Ryan Leonard, as in recent games, has been a real rock in our defence. So no, he's a loss, Graham. So yeah, we'll probably be in Marku. I'm going to guess to start at Birmingham. I'm going to guess, and maybe we'll see if Taylor or Wes comes in, and maybe shift Kramer rightwards. I don't know. We'll see.
There was a couple of incidents late on with Marku that frustrated me, where he got caught offside, and it's from taking a corner. So surely, you follow the play out. It happened 2 or 3 times. Where he got caught offside, where he'd taken a corner and hadn't followed the play out.
Well, they call that football intelligence. I think they call that, Graham.
Yeah.
Or lack of sometimes. I like the boy. I think he's got power and pace, but I do think he switches off, and that's a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a problem. We'll see. But there we are. We can only play with what we have available. It was a disappointing way for it to finish yesterday. Very scrappy game, Graham. I think, like we said at the start of the conversation, we've got used to dining in the best restaurants of late, and yes, it was a bit of a reality check that we still when we come up against a difficult side like Oxford at home under Gary Rowett, a past master of kicking, scratching, and fighting for every inch, we still struggle, although we were leading, and sloppiness, I think, might be our downfall really yesterday. I think that's the way to put it. There we go, dear listeners, leaving us fourth in the table. We mustn't start moaning. I've just been reading about Spurs fans booing Thomas Frank, their new manager, when they're sitting third in the Premier League with European ambitions still. Mustn't get like that, must we? I do think we're realistic at the Den, so to some extent. It also made me laugh when the poor old Gary Rowett was getting dug out something chronic yesterday. Gary Rowett, your football is shit.
Yeah.
I know it's a Millwall travelling support, boys, but he got us to 80th position repeatedly next to no resources. I mean, I get the criticisms of his football, Graham, but I think he's. I don't think he quite deserved the amount of abuse he was taking yesterday, and he actually came over and clapped at the end. So fair play to him. He took it on the chin. Yeah. I thought that was a nice touch, actually. I also wanted, before we close out, I just wanted to say a big well done to Oxford United Football Club for the remembrance ceremony before the kickoff, which was really well done. They had a bugler who hit the notes spot on. That can't be an easy. I've never played an instrument, let alone a bugle. That can't be an easy thing to do. And they had a nice like a cadet marching band. That was really good at half time. It's quite nice to see it. So I just wanted to take my hat off to Oxford United. That was a nicely done remembrance ceremony, and ours, I'm going to guess, will be next Saturday, Graham.
Yeah, I think next Saturday. Very well. I think it was nice and all to have I prefer that the minute silence to the round minute of applause, especially for that. Hopefully we'll have a minute silence next.
I think, I mean, I agree. Minute silences are fraught with problems where it's you get arseholes that intrude, and that's where you get people telling them off, and it all becomes undignified quite quickly. But the way they managed it yesterday, which is they had the last post bugle piece, and the guy was very skilled because he held the last note. I'm going into a music podcast now, listeners. He held his last note, and that can't be an easy thing to do. It can't be an easy instrument to play. And he held it nicely. And as that finished, the referee blew the whistle for the applause, and that I thought was a nice you didn't have too long
Yeah.
for there to be arseholes. If that, and you get those everywhere, listeners. I'm not gonna comment on who's got the most arseholes in the world. You know, that everyone's got arseholes, including us. So yeah, I thought it eliminated that potential for someone to break the silence, but it was really nicely done. And I just want to say well done to Oxford because it was a very touching ceremony. So there we go. Graham, we've had our own issues on the line this morning, but a big well done to you for
sorry about that.
logging. No, it's the way of the internet. Big well done for coming back and keep logging back on. So great to hear from you, Graham.
Cheers, Nick.
And listeners, stay tuned. We've got some voice notes after these messages. Stay tuned.
Hello. Joe from Chicago. I hated the way we defended the last 20 minutes. It was like we weren't going for the third goal. I hate Gary Rowett. Did so much for us and just fucks us every time we play him again. Point on the road's a point on the road, but I really hated that. Cheers. Come on, you Lions. Jake, that was the most Jake Cooper thing ever, if we're going to be honest. Get all the moments, all the accolades, and then blow it at the end because of stupid reffing and the team not finishing out a result. We're still really good. Come on, you Lions. Hope everyone has a good one.
Hey, Nick, Glyn here. Yeah, so hard to feel too happy about an away draw when we were clearly, I think, a much better side today. But, yeah, I mean, this happens in football. Sometimes you just got to take it on the chin. We didn't get the rub of the green, and Oxford were, quite fortunate to get their equaliser in the end, although it was a well-taken goal. I do think Mazu Sakho struggled in the game, and when Billy Mitchell came on and re-established his partnership with Denor, we looked a much more stable side. Another good performance from Crocombe. I mean, that really important save at the end. Just a shame that didn't seal the win for us because it deserved to, and he did tremendously well to keep that ball out, which was, to all intents and purposes, going in the bottom corner. So, yeah, unlucky Crocombe. I think the final point I wanted to make was Ivanovic, and I think that you touched on this last week as well, that there was a situation with his contract, and we don't know the ins and outs of it, and we're assuming that maybe he got delusions of grandeur and or him or his agent were expecting more than they should do at this stage of his career. But he's signed now, and he's on board, and he's a young lad, and he's clearly, not playing with the level of confidence that we've seen him in the past. So I think we just need to get behind him. Just need to give him 100% vocal support, treat him as one of our own, and make sure that we're not getting on his back, but we're encouraging him. Because I'd rather have a striker shooting and failing than one who's afraid to take a shot because he's getting the boo boys on his back. And at his age, he's still got plenty of room to grow. And he's, he did all right today. He did okay. Yeah, that's it really. I don't have much more to say today. It's a bit deflating, but hey, look, we were in touching distance of Coventry at one point today. Could easily have come out of this just 2 points behind them, which is incredible when you think about where we've been in previous seasons. Oh, one final thought. I'm really glad I'm not watching Gary Rowett football week in, week out. Oh my word, those poor Oxford fans. Anyway, on to the next game, Tuesday night. Come on, you Lions.
Nick, Craig from Costell Dawlish. Rowett's good old percentage ball goes and bites us on the backside, doesn't it? Frustrating, and just a case of us being very unlucky, I think, in my opinion. Overall, I think we did enough to win, and we should have probably come home with 3 points from Oxford, which would have set us up for a great start for another 3-game week. But not beforehand, would we have taken a point? Probably, knowing that everyone was thinking that the way Oxford play will be very attritional, very gritty, which is what we expect from any kind of Rowett team. But enough about Gary Rowett, because he's not our manager anymore, and he is managing a team that are going to be scrapping at the bottom end of the table. For us, it was just an opportunity not to get into second place. And I think in a few WhatsApp groups there was a mention about how important a point that could be, because if it was the other way around when we were 2-1 down and we clawed one back for 2-2, we'd be thinking that was a great point. I still think it could be a great point for us because we're still in the top 6. We've got to think we're not aiming for automatics. We're not chasing Coventry. We don't want to be getting too many ideas above our station. We are making sure that we have put in the foundations to try and ensure a top 6 position for us. But being a top 6 team will be difficult without Femi Aziz. It's got to be pretty clear. I'm sure a lot of people in the voicemails will say that as well, because we're going to be looking at 2 months, potentially, maybe even 3, without someone who is very talismanic for us. And it just seems to happen, doesn't it? And also with Leonard, who is our solid 7 out of 10 every single week. And one of the players who, certainly after last week, is the kind of person that wants to keep up the standards of the team as well. So it'll be interesting to see how we set up against Birmingham. I imagine Wes Harding will start at right back for us at St Andrews, but it's just so annoying. So annoying. But as Alex Neil would say, we don't want to get too low when we hit a low, the same way that we don't want to get too high when we hit a high, which I think quite a few of us were starting to break through the ceiling of how high we were getting. But onwards and upwards. Great for Cooper to get a goal on his 400th appearance. I think a lot of people will be saying that, and certainly from a lot of videos that I've seen today that the club have put out, absolutely up there as a Millwall legend, I think, and will be appreciated more once he's no longer at the club or playing football. He may well be finishing his career at the club because he is that important a player. And certainly when you hear it from players who have been in the same dressing room as him, room with him, gone on away days and everything, I think there's a lot more to him as a person that lends to him being a captain. And I think we always think, right, he needs to be the person who has to be in the referee's ear. He has to be having a go at players, but he's got other players that will do that for him. He's there to keep up the standards and being prepared for each game in the correct way. And I think that's where he's probably learned a lot of Hutch and a lot of players like Saville and certainly from Harris, who he was pretty much on the money with, saying how underappreciated he probably is and how important he really is and how successful Millwall have been with him there. I don't want to quote him verbatim, but it's along those lines. And also Ballo getting his first goal, which has been great for him. I was surprised it was a header since he's a tiny guy, but absolutely class. And I really do hope we do sign him on a permanent. But I think there's not really much more to add from that one. But on to Tuesday, thank goodness, because I think after a result like that, you want to play a game as soon as possible to get it out of our system. And I hope that we sort of take out our frustration on Birmingham, who scored 4 on the weekend. This weekend is very championshipy, I think. Very, very championshipy. Just a lot of ridiculous results and high-scoring games. So expect this to be a boring 0-0 on Tuesday. Anyway, come on, your lines.
Thank you, Craig. And before Craig, to Glyn and to Joe in Chicago on that little sequence of 3 voicemails, listeners. Jake Cooper, what a player. It is a really nice video that Craig's just mentioned. I don't know if anyone's seen it. You've got to be a subscriber to the Mill TV channel, and I know not everyone agrees with that. It is a lovely video. There's some messages from old-time players. Tony Craig, Jed Wallace is on there, Jill Saville, as Craig has mentioned. Also Neil Harris at Cambridge now. And players and staff around the club. And it's evident the high esteem in which Jake Cooper is held, and I think that's something that possibly we all take for granted a little bit. I'm going to include myself. I'm not just chastising others here, listeners. I include myself. I think there have been occasions where we don't quite realise what a player, what a presence he has been for these past 400 appearances, and he's still got petrol in the tank. So let's hope for a few more. I think Mark Litchfield on the video says he's the 7th now highest appearance maker in Millwall history. And there's legendary names like Barry Kitchener, Neil Harris. I think Paul Robinson's been edged out, but this is the level of Keith Rhino Stevens, McCleary, people of that kind. So this is the level that he's now at. And I do agree with Craig that I think that we'll probably relish him after his playing days have come to a conclusion. Let's hope that's not for a few more years yet to come. Will it be an important point? I think was Craig's other main point there. I think it probably will. In a cold light of day today, I think a point away at a place like Oxford in those conditions is a big achievement. I must admit, in the moments after the goal went in last night, I was really, really pissed off. But then you've got a long hour and a half's drive back to London, to mull it over. And I think the longer you get away from the emotion of that late concession of a goal, the more you start to think, well, actually, that's an unbeaten away record maintained. We probably would have settled for it at the start of the day, blah, blah, blah. And we're certainly, at the moment, we seem to be a top 6 side. I don't think we don't have to have aspirations for higher still, just to slightly go against what Craig said there about how we're not aiming for the top 2. I think we should aim for the top 2. Why not? I think the only thing that will hold us back, as a few have mentioned in the voicemails, is injuries. The loss of Femi Aziz was a big blow yesterday. It is an opportunity for other creatives to step forward, and that's what we really do need at the moment. We need other players to step up. I'm thinking of Kamil Negli, I'm thinking of Mihailo Ivanovic, Tierno Ballo. They're going to have to come forwards and start to recreate those unpredictable elements that we've lost with Femi Aziz. I don't know how long he's out for. I've not seen anything on length of time. If it's a hamstring, it might be a few months, as Craig just said. I also want to take my hat off to Billy Mitchell. I think it was Glyn mentioned Derek looking a little bit overwhelmed as the game wore on yesterday. It was hard. I think I said it must seem a long way from southern France to be stuck on the Oxford Business Park there with the wind and rain swirling around a three-sided arena with championship level journeyman defenders up against you. These are not mugs. This was a well drilled Gary Rowett side. And Billy came in and really, put some extra energy. I think the late equaliser, when I saw it back today, there was more fortune in it than I gave it credit for in the moment last night. There was a deflected cross that just fell perfectly in the path of the 14, who put his foot through it and caught it well. On another day, you don't catch it well and it skews off like one of my drives on the golf course. It goes off at 45 degrees angle. So Lady Luck didn't smile us on us there, and as Glenn said, we didn't get the rub of the green. But there we go. That's football. Big thank you to everyone for their contributions to the voicemail pot. I will now be continuing with part 2 on the same channel, but as a separate podcast, dear listeners. So until the next edition of Achtung Millwall, I want to say a big thank you to Graham and to each of the 3 boys for this show. The rest of the voicemails will follow in part 2 of this edition. So why not jump on that one immediately? Arrivederci Millwall.
Achtung, Millwall.
Who do you want to watch?
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.